Welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Joining me to discuss long-term financial planning is Mike Coady from the deVere Group. Hello Mike, thanks for joining me.
Good morning.
So can you tell me, why is long-term financial planning so important?
We find that most people focus on key areas of financial planning. So saving for a wedding, making sure they have enough money for their children's education, making sure they're saving for a deposit for their home. And of course, naturally, the big one is saving for their retirement, making sure they have enough money to do all the things that they want to do in their retirement. What we find is those people that are prepared to save over the longer term are inevitably much more likely to hit their goals and achieve their targets. In fact, that's recently been backed up over the past couple of days from Standard Life, where they've reported that those individuals that save over a long term and in conjunction with a financial advisor are again much more likely to achieve their financial goals. What I'd say about that is when you invest over the long term, what you get is time. So it enables you to put significant more contribution in, and at the end of time, those contributions are going to be working for longer and harder for you during that course of that period. So what I would say to people is it's all about saving today, it's all about making your money work hard for you, it's all about making sure that you're saving with the right level of time, and at the same time making sure that you plan for today, you plan for tomorrow. So most sensible clients that we work with, would take the decision to say, right, I'm going to take a certain amount of my income, I'm going to do it, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to spend it and live for today. But at the same time be sensible, and at the same time take a proportion of that income and make sure that they're saving for tomorrow, investing for tomorrow, so that they have that money in the long term for them.
Why is this more important now than ever before?
I think the world has changed dramatically over the course of the last few years, and if you look at the current economic climate, there's global uncertainty, there's employment uncertainty, we're living in a world with low interest rates and inevitably lower market returns. The market itself is more volatile. We look at what employers and governments are able to offer us. Governments are able to offer us almost nothing these days. And even our big multinational employers, if we look at perhaps over the years, they've given us final salary schemes. If you take the UK, there's not an employer in the UK now that would give you entrance to a final salary scheme. So governments are backing away, employers are backing away. And then the big problem is the fact that we have an aging population. So the little bit of money that the governments and institutions and people have, has to last essentially that much longer. I think what we all have to do is take much more personal responsibility and start suggesting to ourselves that nobody else is going to start looking after us apart from ourselves. And I think in much the same way as people have had a strategy with buying a house for many years, if you think about it, when you buy a house, typically you don't own it. So what you do is you take a mortgage out. So in effect, you're saving over a 25-year period to eventually own your own home. And I think if you take the same strategy and apply that to long-term savings like retirement, and again use those types of years to make sure that you hit your targets, that's the type of strategy that you need to look at.
How do you think someone's age influences the type of financial planning they should be focused on? Sure.
I think it makes big differences. I mean, if you take a graduate, for example, that's just leaving university, going into work, so he's in his early 20s, what should he be looking at? Well, the first thing that he should do is be paying off his student loans. He should be paying off his expensive credit cards, and also looking at building up an emergency fund that he's probably never had before. He would also then be thinking about buying his first home, so saving a deposit or persuading somebody else to give a deposit for him. And then again, by joining a multinational type company, he's going to get the opportunity to join a company type pension scheme, or should make similar arrangements in a private type scheme. As we move towards the 30s, this gets typically a very busy time financially for those 30-year-olds. So typically they want to get married, they want to have some children, they want to buy their first home. And essentially what we should also be looking at that stage is making sure that any debt they have is well managed. Typically their salaries will be higher than when they were 20s, so contributions into pensions should be higher. They should start to be looking at other investments. And then again, if they're having children, start to look towards children's education planning and funding. As we move towards the 40s, then at this stage you tend to find that people are starting to reach their professional peak, whereby their salaries are high, and again they should use that and take advantage of that. So typically by this stage, non-mortgage debt should be paid or extremely well managed. We would find that people were investing significantly more into pensions, a more aggressive profile to their investment returns. and essentially making sure that any other additional investments they make, okay, they've got a medium and a long-term understanding of the marketplace. So typically we find that people save between 15 and around about 40% of their income into medium to long-term strategies.
So expatriate financial advice seems particularly specialist. Can you explain more about this?
I think people, particularly expats, seek financial advice in their local areas because understandably they want to get better returns on their money, and they want to make sure that the years that they've been working overseas have been used to good effect. What we find with expatriate financial advice is it's more complex, okay, because of the type of clients, the type of needs that they have. And what we find is if you take certain products like Curops or other international financial advisory products, then again, they're more complex by nature, and again need a better understanding of the products. And what I would say to all clients is the fact that when you're choosing a financial advisor, make sure that that advisor has the ability to look after you pre-move, during the move, and post-move. Make sure that they're regulated in the country that you're dealing with them. Make sure they have a true understanding of the marketplace. Make sure that they're independent in so much they can offer you a range of products from the marketplace, and they have the relative cross-border regulation to make sure they give you the right and appropriate advice.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Mike, and thank you for your great insights.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we've got time for right now, but stay tuned to Dukascopy TV for more updates and interviews. For now, though, goodbye.